Welcome back to Tactics of Marketing, the podcast where we break down all of the questions that I get asked as a marketing agency owner and someone who's teaching marketing and been in the industry for a really long time. This question is something that we get asked really often, and I actually thought that this was more common or something that people really understood already, and that's, do I need a website for my business? There are so many places online that can show your business information, your contact information, where you can post content, and do it all for free. However, most of those places where you're posting all of that content, you don't actually own it. And so the answer is yes, you do need a website for your business. Even if it's just a one-page website or a small, typically a 4 or 5 page website, because it's really easy to break it down into, about services or products, your contact information, who you are. It's much easier to be able to have your own website. For me, there's a few reasons why. So, number one, I kind of said already, which is you don't own any of the other spaces. When you buy your URL, that also means that you can have your email addresses at that URL, and it looks so much more professional than using a Gmail or a Hotmail in order to conduct your business on a regular basis. There's a lot of stats that show how negatively customers and prospects see a Gmail address or a Hotmail address, anything that is not your URL, as a negative towards how confident they feel doing business with you. So it's really best if you just stick with something that you have. Domains aren't that expensive. And I would even say when you're getting the domain, a really simple tip is find something that's uniquely you and self explains what it is. So instead of being able to look at the URL on GoDaddy and say, if smithbrothers.com isn't available, then add in what you're doing. Smith Brothers Plumbing might be the best way to do it, but certainly don't shorten it or make it something that is less likely for someone to understand about your business, like um, SB Plumbing. Well, that's not your trade name. That's not what people are going to see. The abbreviation only makes sense once you start communicating. So have your brand name in that URL. Now, in terms of what you do with it beyond using it for email, even just a one-page website is so much better than thinking everything is covered by Google My Business or through your Instagram or your Facebook profile. Include the same thing you would use as if you were writing something: who, what, when, where, why. Okay, so that's really easy in terms of the content. Who, your business. Talk about your business, your name, what you do, which is very simple in terms of your services or products or how you approach that differently than your competitors. Where, which is your service area, or where your products are manufactured, or where you have more relevance or reach. Who is obviously yourself and your team and the people that will be the face of the company when any of your customers are interacting with them. The why is your competitive advantage, and the how is what you do and why you do what you do and the way that you deliver on all of those other things that you said. So, if that's a really easy way to create content, then there's your logo and stock images if you don't have your own images. But everything that is there, your URL, the hosting that you're running, your website, that's something that you're in control of. And it doesn't come under any sort of penalty or suspect to changes with different algorithmic updates. We've heard of many different companies who had a terrible time with a Google update that meant suddenly they weren't the most popular company that was showing up for their type of service. Well, it's going to happen. It's going to happen again because those algorithms are based on consumer changes. The way that you want to be able to have a home base for everything online is by having your own website. There's a lot of functionality beyond that that I'm sure we'll get into as more questions come up, and we'll probably have 5 or 10 episodes we'll group together just as website basics. But that is the core. No matter what kind of website you look at, that is the core. Once you layer more on top, like how you can have a booking widget for booking meetings or adding sales pages for selling products or taking payments, all of those things are really straightforward to add on if it matches with your business use case. So, as this episode is just designed to be really quick and answer that question is yes, your website does matter. the biggest takeaway is that it matters for your reputation and how people perceive you and see that you are a professional and that you're good at what you do and that you're not somebody that is going to disappear tomorrow when they're counting on you to deliver on your services. So if you don't have a website already, start building it, figure out that URL, and we'll see you in the next episode.